Hi, so my name is Jahaira, and this is my final presentation, and it's called Media and Television Among Our Society. I'm almost having trouble with the audio on how to apply it to Google Slides, so I hope this works out, and I'll try not to shake. Next. So, I think that people interpreted what they see on TV is actually because the media and television actually are great impacts among people, that are living in our society because what people are being exposed to actually can create even more deviant acts. And actually, as well as it causes for even more stereotypes to be applied to certain groups and even have different views, like different outside views being incorporated, and that could also target certain groups. It also has a misrepresentation, sorry, misrepresentation of certain ethnic groups. Sorry, guys. Um, just because they're what they watch on or being viewed on the media. Crime and violent by watching crime and violence on television can actually be associated with creating fears and even being afraid for their lives, or where actually or where they live actually, just because they watch something on television. Um, so I have different reactions and feelings about this because as I was doing this, I actually realized, like I was mad and sad and confused, surprised, and others because I feel like people are creating even more criminal and violent acts because they want to imitate it with the deviant act actually, or they even create it because they're actually fearful for their lives, and they want to protect themselves, or either because they're afraid, you know, and that's all because they watch something on television. I put the labeling theory on this because I feel like people are actually stereotyping, and because what they see, different ethnic groups, or something, and it's probably totally not even true, and also they have like a different view, like they have a misrepresentation on certain ethnic groups, because they're being exposed a certain way on the media. In this article, it was a study based on the certain television shows, such as like criminal shows, reality TV, even the news, how it influences different characters among people. They wanted to see, if that actually, just by viewing the television, that actually is true. And they wanted to understand how like people, like how they do, like they kind of like have like cultivating outcomes because they watch the violence and crimes throughout these shows, such as like they'll base it off like the race, the gender, even the living space, like the such as like cops, like they have an example is the show Cops. Like you may mainly see like African Americans being arrested, and probably that's not even true. It could be even like Americans, or white people being the ones actually being arrested, but it's incorporated different through the media. So what I think about this, the levels of fear of crime in the society, I say that yes, the news in the world news wants to let viewers see what others around in the community commit violent or criminal acts, so that people are aware of what's happening, and also it influences outside views to people watching it. Because they probably already think a certain way about certain groups, and it's just influencing an outside influence, which is it could create even more fear. So for this article, it discusses about the study determined about the how the news and how it targets certain cultural groups actually, and it was based on how they show African American men are the first to be targeted. If something like criminal or violent act to be happen, they were the first to be named, called out, for the certain group. And in some of the cases, it's not even true. It could be it's mainly the whites or the Americans being more the ones that are actually creating even more deviant acts, in reality. For this one, construction of the crack mother icon. Um, for this one, it kind of like explains how they targeted the African American women and how they portray them in the media and the films, such as like them being like the the ones smoking, the ones dealing with drugs, or even the bad mom. You know, that's how they're being labeled. You know, just because that's how they're being portrayed through the media and the movies, and movies such as like the Diary of a Mad Black Woman, you know, Precious, and even the old movies, you know, like from the 1950s, 1960s. That's how long it's being portrayed. And for conclusion, I'm gonna say it has changed the way I have viewed, you know, this the way I interpreted what I see on television, because not all the that is shown on the media is true, or should it change my own knowledge or views on it. Um, and that's just about it. And these are my references. Sorry that the video comes out blue, but I try my best. Thank you.